Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Game 2 of Liquid versus Keita Gaming in the best of 3 match between these two teams. We're currently locked in it in Group D of the WePlay.tv Dota 2 League. The winner of this match, of this best of 3, moves on into the playoffs. They will be one of the final 8 teams standing. I am LD. I'm joined here today by Mount. Mount, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How about you?
Good, good. So, looking at the way that Game 1 developed, I felt like Keita picked a fine lineup, had a good strategy, but they didn't have the execution to back it up, and that's always the tough thing against Wisp. You really have to have fantastic team organization and coordination, and rather than deal with the Wisp, this time they will choose to ban it, which, all things considered, I think it's the way to go. I think some teams can get away with letting Wisp in the pool and even punish the pick, but Keita Gaming, one of these sort of up-and-coming teams, not quite at the point where I think they can do it. So, and especially against a team like Liquid, who loves the hero, who's comfortable and successful with it, just get rid of it, force it to be a more standard game.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's not a big surprise that they banned out that hero. They also banned out the Nyx Assassin, but of course, with that ban, that means that Team Liquid has more options to choose from rather than going for the Wisp. And, you know, I'm not sure if they would have went with the Wisp again if they had the option to. I mean, they might go for something else. I know that they love running that Ninja Prophet like I talked about in the previous game. There's so many different options, and I talked about Team Liquid and versatility. They have that there. Interesting to note, Keita Gaming, they rode the coattails of the Lone Druid for their victory over fnatic.na, so perhaps that could show some indication of life here for them, as they do need to take this game right now from Team Liquid. It's going to be a tough uphill battle, but they certainly can do it here.
There's also a Lifestealer in the pool, so they have their choice, and Lifestealer here who wins games all over the place. Liquid, well, thanks for the gift, they say. We'll take that one to the bank. And Rubik Shadow Demon available as well. I imagine one of those strong supports that they have in mind, or a Bane, so I mean, arguably the best support counter to a Lifestealer, because he's actually got an ult that not only can disable you like a Purge, but actually holds you in place in the Bane, and as well as Enfeeble. Lots of single target lockdown, so also a great hero to deal with the Lone Druid Bear. When he's trying to push, you Enfeeble him, he ain't hitting nearly as hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not surprised that they're using that Bane pickup here. There are other good supports like the Shadow Demon, of course, like you said, the Rubik, but Bane really good for that single target lockdown. Fiend's Grip is such a great ultimate, but at the same time, also pretty easy to mess up with that Bane Nightmare as well. So something that, you know, interesting that they picked that up, but of course, Team Liquid style sort of kind of indicates that they love playing aggressive with those kind of heroes and setting up ganks with those kind of heroes. We'll see if they want to go for like a setup stun, or a setup Nightmare for a stun with like a Leshrac or something like that, if they want to do that. But that's not really indicative of their playstyle. Regardless, they still have a bunch of time here to decide what they want to go for. Meanwhile, Shadow, Demon, and Magnus going for Keita. So it's like the same draft all over again, besides the Lone Druid.
Yeah, the Magnus going to be the choice, so they get a little extra damage for that Lone Druid. It's a very similar draft, but I mean, it comes with the big difference of it, A, being the Lone Druid, and B, they've banned out the Wisp. So they can split push, they can play that kind of more stable defensive style, and for Liquid, if they want to get aggressive, I think they still have options to do so, but it's going to be much harder now. You don't have the instant +2 wherever you go, so maybe we see something like the Bulba Prophet here, goes nicely with the Lifestealer, and gives you potential sort of global infest bombs. Aside from that, there's maybe the Korok Storm, but I'm not so sure you'd pick it up right here. If they want to go for it, though, and it's a mag mid, which we saw jungle mag last game, but generally mag does go mid, that's a matchup the Storm actually can do quite well in, so we will see. Something to keep an eye on anyway.
Yeah, and, you know, they just have so many options here. The Nature's Prophet, I think, is probably the way to go, just because it'll be so easy to set up ganks with him as well with that Nightmare. And, of course, they're going to go for Brewmaster, though, this time around for Team Liquid, which I'm very surprised about.
Another hero to deal with Lone Druid. You can cycle in the Bear, you can and keep him out of the fight for 6 seconds. It's absolute pain in the ass to deal with. You also have Enfeeble already, so I think this is all about just dealing with the Lone Druid.
Yeah, and that makes sense to me, like I talked about. In their game against Fnatic, and Keita had just such a great time with that Lone Druid. Lone Druid's so difficult to deal with in the first place, and just to take his bear out of the fight is a huge advantage. You can even get the kill on the bear even, but that's easier said than done. They're going to ban out the Clockwork. Obviously not a surprise, of course, the way Bulba played it in the previous game. So right now, Team Liquid's lineup looking pretty strong. You have the Lifestealer Bane in that lane together. Brewmaster probably mid up against probably a Magnus again, or not again, I should say, as there was a jungle Magnus in the previous game. But I'm not sure what Team Liquid's going to pick up for their second support right now, and I think Keita Gaming's lineup is also kind of interesting to me. I don't know where they're going to send the Lone Druid.
Yeah, I imagine it's a safe lane Lone Druid. I haven't watched them play, but it could definitely be an offlaner if you want. And right now for Liquid, don't really have enough damage to kill the bear. There's a Gyrocopter in the pool. If either team wants a secondary carry, I imagine something both teams could have an eye on. Liquid, potentially the Lifestealer gets a solo lane, potentially the Gyro The Brewmaster is even part of a tri-lane. We generally don't expect that from Liquid, but just in terms of the hero composition, it is an option. Prophet going to be the ban, so I think a smart ban there is Bulba's hero has not been picked up yet. Banning all Bulba heroes, the Clockwork, the Prophet. We'll have to see what the last ban is, but wouldn't surprise me too much if it's something else that Bulba likes to play. What else he likes to play isn't really coming to mind right now, but I'm sure there's some Bulba signatures left in the pool. Those are kind of the two big ones, though.
He likes to play everything. He's all over the place with what he likes to play, but those two heroes are generally the heroes that you see most of the time, I think, for the side of Team Liquid. I mean, and Bulba's really just great, I think, in that off-lane position anyway, so whatever hero fits that mold. And, well, we'll see what the last ban is going to be. Team Liquid smartly bans out the Weaver. Could have been really annoying to deal with. Shukuchi's just so powerful early on in the game, especially against some of the squishier heroes like the Bane, but...
Yeah, Liquid actually though wants to ban it. So I mean, just such a pain in the ass for Lifesteal to deal with. At the end of the day, I think that's what this is all about. Is sure you can lock him down with something like Fiend Script, but you really want to focus all your attention on some of the higher priority targets. So get rid of a carry that Lifesteal doesn't have a good answer for. Make sure you don't have to worry about it. I still feel like there's space in this game for potentially. Something like a Korok Storm, but if they want to aggressive tri-lane the Lifestealer, can run the Storm safe lane. And if he's up, or even mid, and if he's up against something like a Magnus, he'll be fine. The thing is, if they do run an aggressive tri-lane, Lone Druid can win any 1v1 matchup against what Liquid has, but if they get the trades elsewhere, then I think it could be okay. So we will see, but something still, I feel, that could be in the offing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Team Liquid certainly could run that aggressive tri-lane. I mean, they just need to pick up another really great support here. The Phantom Lanes are going to be banned out from the side of Keita, or excuse me, Team Liquid, as Keita has that Lone Druid, but they need something to go with their tri-lane, I think, as their Lone Druid is probably going to be getting that solo farm. Shadow Demon and another support are going to be a part of a lane, I'd imagine, together. Magnus probably going to be going mid at this point. So everything's kind of coming together right now. You look at Team Liquid, don't know really. I think Brewmaster will probably go mid, but they can change things around. They have that option.
There's still a Gyrocopter Leshrac, a Gyrocopter Lina. They'll go with the Leshrac here, so could be a tri-lane Gyro, a solo Lone Druid, a solo Magnus, and if Keita go that way, I think that's to their credit and to their benefit, as they have the strongest solo 1v1 hero in the game. Or if not in the game, then in this game anyway, as Batrider's been banned out. Some of the other premier solos not available, and we'll see what they go for, but I think a secondary carry is in order here. You probably don't want to run this Lone Druid as a pure one-position farmer. Get some additional source of damage, maybe even a Juggernaut. Actually, the more I think about it, Juggernaut would be ideal, because they have Lone Druid, they get the healing ward, he goes well with Shadow Demon Leshrac, and you can run a strong, aggressive tri-lane with him. And Bane doesn't really do well against him, because you can't really rely on sleeping him. You sure you could Fiend Script him while he's spinning, but that's about it, and that's not until level 6, so I think Juggernaut's next order of business for Keita here.
I agree with you on the fact of they all have really great lockdown, of course, or avoid the lockdown, I should say, for the Juggernaut pickup. But I think that Gyrocopter just benefits more because of the damage that he can output. Yes, he can get Nightmared, and that kind of sort of dissipates the Rocket Barrage potential. But Flat Cannon's so strong, and even if he does get Nightmared, he can get woken up by his teammates. Of course, they already have a pretty decent combo in the Shadow Demon Disruption, but with the Leshrac, but they will go for the Juggernaut instead. So.
Yeah, they get the healing ward for the bear. At the end of the day, that's the strong thing about this combo. And they went Leshrac instead of Lina. A slight difference perhaps, but the main reason is now they get Edict. So they get the better pushing support. They get a little bit less burst damage, but I think it's just a very solid, stable draft and from them. And for Liquid, they have some potential. They've got obviously lots of strong lockdown and some good disables of their own. But I feel like the Death Ball of Keita is just flat out the stronger 5-man if it gets to that point. And for Liquid, maybe a bit stronger at finding pickoffs, maybe a little stronger in certain aspects of the laning stage. But they're really going to have to find a way to avoid a true 5v5 clash in the mid game, or at least be ahead if they do. Because if it comes to an even engagement, I would favor Keita there. Can they find an even engagement? Can they have a good start? Those will be the big questions, sort of the same way they were for Game 1.
Yeah, absolutely. And it comes down to, once again, I think just TC, if he plays that Lifestealer, his farm again, can he get that farm? Can he be as effective? They go for an aggressive tri-lane here from the side of Juggernaut. Oh, that is an interesting pickup coming with the Templar Assassin. That's going to be really nice for them to have. I definitely actually like the Jakiro pickup here for the side of Team Liquid as well. I think a lot of people were kind of questioning that, sort of just because of the nerf to Jakiro. You don't see him too often, but with the Nightmare to set everything up, the Ice Path should be easy to hit. Of course, they're going to provide a lot of damage as well. Macropyre is a really great ult. I think a lot of people sort of, underestimate that. Meanwhile, though, you do have a lot of potential in, of course, that tri-lane with Maglev, Gang Train, frequently in Steve style. So, I mean, like...
I call him Steph style. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but I agree with you about the Jakiro this game because they're up against a pushing lineup, especially when you see that Juggernaut. Even before you do, there's still a Lone Druid and a Leshrac. you picked the Leshrac over the Lina because you want to push. So Liquid sees that. Their first support was a Bane. Bane doesn't help you against pushes at all, aside from enfeebling the bear, which is nice, but ain't going to stop the push by itself. And so I think they looked at that and said, we did a really strong counter-pushing support. Could have maybe gone for Lina, but Jakiro offers you a little bit more AoE punch. Bang for your buck. We'll have a quick pause, Maud, and great time to introduce the team. So over on the side, we'll start with the underdogs, the team that's down 0-1 in the best of 3. It's Keita Gaming. Maglev Gangtrain going to be handling that Juggernaut. We'll have Frigo Leet handling the Leshrac. Early smoke picked up on him. Steph Style on the Shadow Demon. It will be Fluxplox handling the Lone Druid and potentially going off-lane with this, hoping that Liquid will go aggressive as well. And last but not least, it's Saiso handling the Mag and taking the solo mid.
Absolutely. On the side of Liquid, you've got Fluff on the Bane there. You got IXMike88 on the Jakiro. Bobo will be on the Brewmaster, probably going that offlane. We'll see, though. TC is going to be on the Lifestealer. And it's going to see Korok on the Templar Assassin. Actually, what they could do solo safe lane Templar Assassin, send Bulba to the mid lane. Not sure if that's what they're going to do there, but it is going to be that aggressive tri-lane coming out from the side of Liquid as they're going to head down to the bottom lane. So it's going to be tri-lane versus tri-lane, which I always get excited for. I mean, that usually means a lot of kills happening early, and that's just really what I like to see in terms of games. So could be fun.
Yeah, it could be an absolute bloodbath there, and we'll have to see who comes out on top. I feel like for Keita Gaming, they have much more damage. That's the big advantage of their tri-lane. And also, 2 defensive heroes in the Juggernaut, as well as the Shadow Demon. Sure, you can sleep yourself or a teammate for that 1 second of invulnerability, but it's not a reliable defensive spell the way that something like Disruption is. And Blade Fury as well, got to do tons of sustained damage. So I would actually say, especially being in the defensive tri-lane, they would have the edge, but the big factor here is just going to be experience as well as wards. And Liquid, as the veteran team, the top-tier team, the team that's expected to take the series, currently leading the best of 3 1-0, you expect they'll make up for any deficits in the hero matchups just with superior warding and positioning. We'll have to see. I imagine Bulba with the early stout shield will either be in the tri-lane or he'll even be taking a solo role. TC, we could see either one. It really depends just how they want to lane it. I mean, Bulba will offer them a little more punch in terms of the tri-lane, give you an AoE stun, but TC will be slightly more survivable. So either is certainly an option, but it looks like they'll actually give TC the solo. So in the end, I think this is the slightly safer play just because this way you have a TA mid and you have a Lifestealer safe lane. Someone's probably getting farmed, and then you have some options as you go into the mid game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's really the main factor is that they want to make sure that TC can get some farm right now. And they will actually send, of course, Korok mid here, which is a nice matchup. As you can see, he's going to be going up against that Mag. So definitely with TC rotating up top, he'll have a good time. Of course, he's going to be going up against the Lone Druid, who's just such a strong soloer. Doesn't matter, however. And he's going to skill up Feast first, just going to be able to get that lifesteal going. But now this tri-lane might be difficult for the side of Liquid, even with that really good experience that they've got. I mean, they've been playing for such a long time together, but they're actually going to pick up a double damage rune, which is going to be nice to have very early on.
It all really comes down to positioning. If something like the Shadow Demon gets caught, Keita's screwed. But if you say have a hero like the Bane or the Twin-Headed Dragon out of position, it goes completely the other way. So it'll just come down to who finds the better initiation. And looking at the tri-lane off the bat, Liquid have warded off the camp. No sort of D-ward yet from Keita, but they do have a pair of sentries on Frigo Elite, as well as a smoke. And the other thing is, having this Leshrac, it kind of is just fortunate for them, because they picked it before the TA, but now if they want to go smoke gank mid, they have Edict. So they actually have a hero who can kill a TA. Lina really can't. So they have that plan B. And the thing is, I don't think they can actually kill Maglev Gangtrain if they leave him alone. So we'll see. I doubt they'll do it right away, but it's an option later on. And for the moment, a little bit of D-warding.
Yeah, and that's the first priority. Just make sure you can be able to pull that camp as much as possible. Get that experience going the way. They're already going to be really aggressive, though. Maglev taking a lot of damage.
Wow, he almost died at level 1. He got down to about 50 HP. That's with a stout shield, but here comes potentially the turnaround. The stun is there. Fluff going to throw out a level 1 brain sap. Actually forced to skill that. Probably would prefer to have to sleep. And, well, no future aggression. Yeah, Maglev taking the full brunt of all their auto attacks, as well as just a clap. I mean, a lot of physical damage coming out, too, so... Well, that's not going to help him. Forced to blow salve off the bat. Now the lane gets a bit trickier.
Yeah, I mean, you want to try to conserve that regen as much as possible, especially now that they're pulling here. They have, I mean, this is maybe not the right time to pull.
If he got Ice Path, might have died there, but not able to get the Ice Path, so he will be tangoing up. And thing is, they're pulling while the lane's pushing, so first of all, Juggernaut takes damage, and secondly, they have to deal with this creep wave, which means they can't have 3 heroes contesting the pull. Still, Frigo Elite's actually going to clean most of that pull up in the end, so nice work by him.
Yeah, absolutely. But they'll take three creeps back to the lane with them, and just they'll try to get those last hits as well. But yeah, I mean, it's very interesting to see them pull while it was actually pushing into the tower. I mean, if they had hit that ice path like you were talking about, I mean, Maglev probably is dead there. But regardless, doesn't happen. But keeping our eyes peeled on this trial lane is certainly going to be what's going to happen this entire game, and for the most part. But the last hits are going pretty well for TC, as well as, of course, the TA in the mid with Korok. So
good news is TC is probably going to kill the Lone Druid Bear here. One more hit and it's dead. It will go down, and now Floxplox is in a little bit of a pickle. He won't die as Open Woods is on cooldown. He'll take a ton of damage, though. And TC just being pulled a little bit of regen, started with one set of tangos from Fluff and went for the perfect build. I mean, it's still a matchup that you think the Lone Druid will have an edge in, but not an overwhelming one, and not when you lose your Bear that early. That's a lot of additional gold for TC. And in fact, Floxplox seems like he's struggling in this lane. 3-0 against the 16-3 of TC. Now that definitely shouldn't happen. Mid lane, Korok got skewered back into the tower, but no follow-up available, and not gonna be able to find the kill. Oh, here we go. There's your disruption bottom lane. Now, the Light Trigger away. Fluff in trouble. Not the Light Trigger, rather the Split Earth. He will get a Brain Sap out, but he will go down. First blood goes to Keita. Liquid just narrowly missing it earlier. Now they pay for not picking it up. I think they're okay with this, though. As we look at the two solos, they're not going to be happy about a first blood, but TC is crushing the top lane, and then Korok also crushing mid. So both solos really doing well.
Yeah, I mean, that was perfect execution from Keita, and it really is sort of dummy-proof, that sort of execution. I mean, you disruption, followed up by the Split Earth, which is really easy timing to make, and then, of course, Blade Fury right after that on top of that hero. I mean, Fluff almost survived that, too, with the Brain Sap, but unfortunately was not able to. Meanwhile, in the top lane, TC getting a kill on that Bear, very, very important, of course. I think this lane changes a bit when Floxplox gets his Bear leveled up, so he has that Entangling Claws, makes it a little bit difficult for TC to farm effectively if he keeps sending his Bear onto him, but so far he's been just kind of throwing that Bear back and not really been worrying about it too much.
Thing is, TC almost has phase boots. So once you get phase boots, you can just dive the hero, and unless there's an entangle, you actually just die. But no, he's going to go for Helm of Iron Will. So it goes for some extra sustain, and now the Bear harass, not nearly scary bottom lane. There will be a disruption. A Split Earth to follow. Bulba tries to juke away from that one, not able to. Juggernaut taking the long way around, and while that's happening, his teammate's going to get picked off. Bulba gets the kill, then looks to get out. Now asleep on Maglev while they all run. Bulba down to 50 HP. He's going to salve up. He's going to live. Will there be at least Shadow Poison? Not even a mana to cast a Shadow Poison. That's how mana-starved this tri-lane is. And to make it worse, Saiso even rotated in, not able to find anything. And Korok even got the rune, so really not much going right aside from that first blood. Sure, they got it, but you can see that Liquid still have enough punch to get those kills. And again, it just kind of goes down to execution and positioning. We saw earlier, Bane caught out of position. He ends up dying, Fluff and stuff. And now, similar thing. Juggernaut in the lane, not prepared to help his team, and they try to fight in the jungle without him. Just the coordination not quite there, and they pay as a result. So whoever's having the better positioning, the better coordination, winning these fights.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the supports on the side of Keita are not the tankiest heroes in the world. They're going to go down real quick if you don't have that Juggernaut there to help out and get those kills, which, of course, like you talked about, he's in the lane. Meanwhile, top lane, TC kills the Bear again with a dive, and Floxplox is just having a really difficult day.
I'm sorry, but Lifesteal is a pretty good hero. I mean, when you can actually beat a Lone Druid 1v1, granted, I feel like Floxplox maybe being a little careless with that Bear, but at the end of the day, it's a Lifestealer with no items, just crushing the Bear by himself. There isn't even level 5 yet. Now the Entangle is out, and I imagine life might get harder for TC, but with the Helm of Iron Will already picked up, it's going to be fine. And for Liquid, they're going to do a little bit of a rotation. So already Bulba, Boots, and Bottle, very tanky, very hard to kill. And also feeling like they won't get too much more out of this lane. They'll rotate him top, and if the Blown Druid, if Floxplox enters this lane, he's screwed.
Yeah, he's going to die. I mean, they'll just put a Nightmare, get ready to go on him, and TC will just open wound. He's also got his Infest as well, which is quite a bit of damage, 150 damage in that AoE radius as well. Don't even know that Fluff is here right now. They don't have vision on it, so Floxplox might get got on here. Yeah, the open wounds is going to go.
You're going to get got, that's for sure. There's a Brain Sap available. No, the root. The root from the Bear, but the sleep turns around, the Infest to pop back out, and they get the kill. Probably didn't want to use the Infest, but forced to. And now bottom lane, Bulba gonna get caught out, so survivable, but not survivable enough, and a little bit of a snowball for both of these farmers in their respective safe lanes. IX Mike on the run, the crits, it's enough. They get a secondary kill, 2 for 1 when it's all said and done. Yes, they lose a Lone Druid, but all things considered, Keita Gaming doing decently. They're down by 1,500 gold. They're down by 1,000 experience. The main reason is just they're getting out-farmed in these two solo lanes, and they're getting out-farmed heavily at that. The kills, though, pretty even overall.
I will not forget.
Yeah, absolutely. But the real story is, like you were talking about, of course, the experience and the gold. And we're going to see that if escalate more once Korok starts participating in some fights or some ganks as well. I mean, he's level 7 now. He's got his boots. He's got his bottle. He can do whatever he wants in terms of fighting.
We've seen this movie before, and it ends with Bulba beat a very, very sad panda. He'll go down as well. Just not a whole lot you can do. Once you get caught by the initial disruption, that's pretty much all she wrote. So Keita, I felt they were a little bit hesitant with their execution initially, but finding their stride now and finding quite a few kills. And you gotta say, if Fluff isn't there, they just have to play more defensively. And unfortunately, Bulba, maybe used to playing tiers. Oh, we'll see a skewer in mid lane onto Korok. Now an RP. Caught under the tower. The tower not cooperating, though. And that's an RP for nothing. In fact, that's an RP for Korok turning around with the Meld Strike. He's got Refraction up. He's going to dive this. And Saiso, no skewer. He maybe can try to TP out, but it's too much damage. He's going to drop. Korok finds the solo kill, and will he die to the tower? He bottles up. He's able to live. He can TP out now if he wants. He will do so. Oi, oi, oi. They may be losing this tri-lane, but they're making up for it in spades elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was just perfect play from Korok right there. He had the refraction as soon as that skewer and RP went, and even a few tower hits as well. The refraction was just tanking up that damage. Then he turns back, he turns on his refraction again, goes for the Meld Strike, and he's easily able to take down the Magnus, no problem. So that mag, now he's set back a little bit more. He's going to be back in the game right now, but of course, now he's not in the lane. This gives some time for Bulba to farm this lane, as there's a TP mid coming in from the side of Keita. That's going to be Saiso again, but now they're going to rotate Bulba, and this is going to give him some experience as he wants to get to 6. He's pretty much at 5 right now, essentially. So they're doing a good job of roaming, but of course, this does leave mag left to free farm at this point in time, which is really nice to have, but he's pretty far behind TC. As you can see, 54 last hits for TC and 33 for mag left right now.
And they're going to take a tier 1 top. Looks like unopposed at that. Flox blocks beating open wounds. While that's happening, there was a disruption catching Fluff and stuff, but it won't matter. They only had 1 here. Liquid at 4. They get the tower. They also find the kill, and if anyone is going to struggle with farm for Liquid, it really should be the Panda. You might think, well, an early blink is amazing on Panda, and it can be, but it's a little bit of a gamble. If you don't find the kills, it doesn't offer you much later, whereas you get farm on your life stealer, on your TA, that's guaranteed utility later on. Just because they hit like trucks, they can actually kill shit. Panda can't necessarily do it, and, well, there will be a lot of killing right now at the rate this is going. TC, Armlet already up, has his phase boots as well if he wants to go that route, or his treads, either way. And then we look at the Templar Assassin, 1,200 gold for Korok. So Blink Dagger or the Yasha coming pretty soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was talking about what was going to happen when Korok started participating in some of these fights. You saw him kill the Magnus earlier, and then, of course, getting that kill on the Lone Druid as well. So doing a nice job. They're going to go top, and they're looking for, of course, Maglev here.
Yeah, this is what I meant about Juggernaut not really being the best hero versus a TA, a Lifestealer. Sure, you can Blade Fury, but they just come and right-click you, and down you go. And Blade Fury or not, it's not going to save you. Does have Omni Slash now, going for kind of a utility build. Lone Druid, this is my big concern. It's you have a Juggernaut Lone Druid lineup, it's kind of built to 5-man, but RP being used on a single hero like the TA, it delays the 5-man. Even if they try to go for it now, I think Liquid have the levels in farm where it's not going to... You can't really run a direct fight, even though I would say on paper they have the better 5-man group up and push. Not when they're behind like this, and not when Lifesteal and TA are quite so fat.
Yeah, I mean, if they want a 5-man on the side of Keita, they have to hit some perfect abilities. They've got to hit that perfect RP. They've got to have a nice split earth as well from the side of the Leshrac. So, and that's easier said than done, especially against a team like with the positioning they've got right now. Meanwhile, Stepstyle really wants that courier. He was almost able to get it as well. But now that he might pay with his life for that sort of insolence, but he's actually just going to back off. He'll be fine.
No, he's not going to get the courier. He's not going to find the kill either, which is what he wanted. He'll go for a pull instead. I like this rotation from Liquid. They've actually moved their Lifestealer down bottom, so they'll give TC the harder lane to farm. As you mentioned, they put Bulba mid, and they've done a complete switch. They had Korok top, I believe, and now he's going to head bottom as well. Looks like, so 4 heroes descending on this lane, and does he have his Blink Dagger yet? No, 1,900 gold, but still infested. Just looking to dive the tower, hoping that Keita's going to try and take a fight. If you're Keita, you see heroes like this under a tower, you got to assume there's 4 or 5 there. They will back off, but Bulba's got his ultimate mid, and maybe they even look to defend mid and kill bottom tower. Looks like Liquid wants to have their cake and eat it too. Can they do so? We're about to find out. Juggernaut, Blade Fury is there. No Omni Slash, now Fluff. Ooh, maybe could have gone for a sleep. Didn't end up getting the sleep off, and well, in the end, now Bulba comes in. He's got his ultimate. Will he deploy it? Not going to just yet. Waiting for the backup. The backup is coming. IX Mike is here. Korok, Blink Dagger picked up, and now the Infest Bombs are going to come. This is bad. They don't know about this. Frigo Lead is going to drop instantaneously, and now the chase is on. Saiso has the stick charges, could pop his wand, but would it matter? I think he just looks to skewer away. Can he get the skewer? He doesn't want to bring TC with him. but Bulba is going to come with them anyway. Korok finds a double kill. Saiso on the run. Looks like he's going to die. Now the question is, can Maglev get out safely? Korok, one more meld strike. Triple kill for him. He does get rooted, though. That root gaming, not going to be enough to find a kill. TC bullies the bear off. When it's all said and done, they lose all of their core heroes except for the lone druid, who isn't even really a core hero. I mean, look at his farm. Boots on both hero and bear, and that's it. I feel like they're fighting 4v5 right now.
Yeah, and they pretty much are. There's just not a whole lot of farm on really any of those heroes. I mean, Maglev has some farm. He was able to use that Omni Slash only on Fluff, getting the kill on Fluff, but of course that doesn't really help them when they're getting like 5-man ganked or just they're getting roamed on here. And this tower is going to go down for the side of Liquid. Now they're going to try to defend this from the side of Keita. TPs are going to come in, but I don't know what they can do here. And this is maybe not the best positioning for the side of Keita at all.
Saiso just gets completely rolled over, and Liquid, they could even go for an early Roach. They have a max meld, I believe, on Korok. Should be close to max anyway, and a DD rune. Smokes, maybe looking for a gank. Not even going to Roach, just smokes in the river. Confident there haven't been any wards here, and now they're lurking. He's waiting. Is he going to go inside a melt? Nope, not just yet. Blinks in, finds blocks, hello, surprise, and goodbye. He'll go down in just a matter of seconds. And now if they want to go Roach, they could, or they could just keep on chasing kills. But really, the world is Liquid's oyster right now, and this game too, not really going any better for Keita than game 1 did.
Yeah, and I don't know how Keita is going to be able to turn this around. They're not getting any room. Their tier 1 towers have been pushed and pressured and just taken down instantaneously. Maglev is getting some farm, but I mean, you can see how far ahead TC is. He's got, of course, plenty of farm.
Oh my god. Hello, Korok on the backside. The drive-by is there. He's still in the DD rune. And that's what they get for entering the middle lane. Being near the tier 2. Korok says, And now Chrysalis, so just pure burst from him. Who needs BKB? Who needs any kind of survivability when you can just one-shot people? Straight to the face, that's his goal.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is the point of the game, I think, that Liquid sort of needs to keep their foot on the gas pedal here. They need to, like you say, go for something like a Roshan. I mean, everybody's alive on the side of Keita, so maybe get a pick off first, maybe go for a smoke egg again, which they just previously did. But at the same time, I mean, they're in really such a good position that they just don't want to, like, Maglev get too much more farm. But that being said, even if Maglev does get some farm, he's not really in the best position. I mean, he's not going to be doing a whole lot of damage here. His Omni Slash is only level 1 as he's level 9. He has his drone finish, which is nice, but in comparison to what TC's doing with his farm, I mean, he's going to have that armlet. He's going to have another item coming, I'm sure, pretty soon. Of course, his Korok has that Crystals, like you mentioned, getting the damage as well, and they're going to go for that Roche.
He's soloing Roche, like, basically soloing Roche. IX Mike does nothing here. TC will come in. Korok not quite able to do it by himself, but damn close anyway. Might have been able to with one Fountain Trip or something like that. He'll kill off the Roche quickly. I imagine it goes to Korok, and now even more, just a recipe for extra aggression, as though there wasn't enough already. Now you get 2 lives to play around with.
And especially on that TA, who can just absolutely just output so much disgusting damage. Refraction is so nice, especially against the lineup that the side of Keita have. They do have that Edict Tower. There's actually what seems to be a smoke coming up from the side of Keita. They're trying to find some heroes, but I think they did this before they saw the Roshan go down.
Yeah, it's just a smoke will, in fact, well, actually, it's an Invis rune on the Shadow Demon, so it dispels on Saiso. Opportunity wasted, and now Liquid going for a smoke gank of their own. This one I have a feeling going to be a lot more effective. Maglev gank train needs to get out. It needs to get out now. And it looks like he wants to stay around. This could cost him. We'll have to wait and see. The state of the game is a scary sight if you're a fan of the Swedish Dota team. Keita Gaming right now, they're down 0-1 in the best of 3. If they lose this game, they're out of the WePlay.tv Dota 2 League. And right now, looking to be in trouble. Here comes Korok, killing off the bear. One more hit needed. Not going to find it. Not going to die for it. Well, they may get a tier 1 top. No, not even that. Liquid won't even give them a tier 1 top. TC TP's in. There is an RP available. But the TP out will be attempted instead, and TC, no disabling him. Won't be able to find the kill. They're not getting anything. There's no trades. There's just losing towers and giving up kills. This is not what you want in a game of Dota. When you're behind, you try and trade, right? You try and get something. Liquid won't give them a thing. No Roche, no towers, no map control.
I mean, that's not surprising with how this game's been going. They've just been roaming around, just essentially looking for kills, looking to fight when Korok got farmed, when TC got farmed as well. They've been making sure they get everything going their way, like you saw with the deny up there. And it's not surprising. They're going to look for some kills mid as well. I mean, this is just going to be a disaster, I think, for the side of Keita.
Bulba man moding up. Is he going to find a boulder toss? He finds one. Now the Ice Path is there as well. Steph Style held in place. A little bit of a lag spike for me, at least. Hopefully not for the players, though. Steph Style dropping low. Will go down just to the auto attacks of Fluff. And now a shockwave on the creeps. Yeah, just nothing the Mag could do, so sorry guys. I'm gonna go back to the jungle. I think we're losing our tier 2. They may at least get the tier 2 bottom in a trade, but still no Aegis down. Liquid could even look towards high ground now, and Realistically, the only thing standing between them and that is like a 4 or 5 hero RP. And even then, I'm not sure it's enough. Because remember, Korok has 2 lives, and TC, well, he's got rage, so sure, you might RP him. But where's your damage? The Lone Druid has no items. The Juggernaut has built utility items. They can't actually kill this Lifestealer if he gets rage off. And now he gets a Basher. Now he gets even more direct combat items, even more ways to do with the Juggernaut. Liquid will back off, but it's only for a moment. They'll be going for the tier 2 bottom soon. They'll be going for the tier 2 top soon. And they'll be coming for your racks in just a few moments as well.
Yeah, this is sort of just a previous replay of what we saw in the last game. I mean, it just seems like a similar story. They're just finding pickoffs there. I mean, Keita's roaming together, not getting really the items they need to get for the heroes that are going to be doing the damage, like you mentioned. And, I mean, yeah, they're going to be able to racks pretty soon, if not already. And at 17 minutes in the game, that's kind of a scary thing to be thinking about. 10k experience lead going for Liquid right now, as well as 7,500 in gold. So they've got quite a lead. Korok has 1,500 gold on him right now, as you can see, and the net worth is also very telling of where Liquid is at this point in the game. So what they can just do is they can just keep going mid. There's no tier 2 tower. Saiso's trying to just sit here with
oh no.
Lux.
And oh no.
Immediately.
Before I even have a chance to say oh no, it's pretty much dead already. Saiso gonna skewer away. No Blink Dagger, gets caught by an Ice Path. This might be his death as well. Meld Strike is there, and the damage comes forth, and down he will go. Juggernaut kind of cruises on by, like, hello. Just drives by the scene of the accident, straight back to the fountain for him.
Well, nothing to do here, better get back to the well.
Yeah, has gone for a Diffusal Blade, so wants to kind of slow down the TA in the fights, I imagine. I mean, maybe you can Mana Burn the Panda a little bit. There's no big buffs to purge off. You can't purge TC when he's raged. I don't know if you can purge off a Fraction. Maybe you can, actually, but I mean, even then, I don't know. This feels like I got to get something to help my team now, but it's not really a great comeback item. It's more of just, we're going to try and find some kills. Can he find them? Pops the Drum Charge, now looking on Fluff, but it's going to turn around. Going for TC instead, who gets a first hit bash, it looks like. Now the Disruption. Magla, Fiend Script, out in plays. No Blade Fury for him. No way out, and now Boba jumps in over the top. Collapse on 2, chasing up Frigo Lead, who's on the run. It doesn't look like he's got any escape plan. Where's your escape plan? It doesn't come now. The bash is there, the double kill is there. And oh, by the way, they're fighting without Korok. They're fighting without their TA who leads the gold charts. And it's a friggin' TA. That deal is almost complete. Doesn't even need it. They're just winning the fights. 2, 3, even 2, like 2v4. They still easily are taking the fights.
Yeah, and I think at this point, I think Liquid is just kind of toying around. You see, I mean, Korok just sitting under the tower, taking the damage and letting the Aegis pop like it's, you know, nobody's business here. So, I mean, there was still a minute left on that Aegis, so very surprising that he did that. I think at this point they realized that they can just try to go in here, take the tier 3, take the Raxes, and do whatever they want, which they've had everything they wanted this game. There's pretty much nothing that has went wrong for them at this point.
Yeah, Maglev gank tried to TP into the tower, but Korok is infested. He'll actually blink away. TC jumps out, so maybe a little miscommunication there. Saiso, no RP popped yet. He wants to go for one, but Korok is kiting him nicely. Now he's held in place. He gets off a nice RP, catches almost everyone, but it doesn't catch Korok, who proceeds to go to work. Starts chopping through heroes left, right, and center. Now Maglev gank tried in trouble. Frigo Elite in trouble. The Bear in trouble. Steps in trouble. Everybody's in trouble. Head for the hills. Head for the hills if you're Keita Gaming. Retreat to the lands of the north, and they will do so. They're knocked out of the WePlay.tv Dota 2 League with this loss. It will be Liquid, your second place team in Group D, and the surprise of the day, EG taking first.
And, I mean, what can you say about Liquid? We talked about their positioning. We talked about just how experienced they are, and it shows. It shows, and Keita Gaming is certainly not a bad team. They didn't get out-drafted or anything like that. They had some great lanes. Just I think the positioning, the execution, it just wasn't there, whereas Liquid had plenty of it. Just so strong with TC and Quad getting that farm. Even in that tri-lane down bottom, Bulba didn't have that rough of a time. He did go down a few times, but still not enough to really carry Keita through the mid-game and into the late game. And even with that, it was like a 4-man reverse polarity in that fight previously. If you don't get Korok, then it doesn't really matter, as he just goes to town and kills pretty much everybody. So, nice job from the side of Liquid. Congratulations to them. Keita Gaming, looking forward to seeing what they can do in the future. But really great game so far, and really great games just today in general.
You know, they had a great run. I mean, they made it. They were literally one best of 3 away from being in the playoffs for this tournament. So a lot of credit to them, as well as to all the other teams who fell short at the end. But now only 8 teams remain standing, and the 2 that will be joining them from today are 2 of the top teams from North America. EG as a 1 seed, Liquid as a 2 seed. The playoffs await. The playoffs back in. It's the WePlay.tv Dota 2 League, and we're just teeing up now. We get to the juicy part of this meal. Starting next week, the playoffs will be underway. We'll have more announcements, more details for y'all about that over at facebook.com/BeyondTheSummit TV, twitter.com/BeyondTheSummit as well. and the WePlay.tv website. So if you want to find out more about what's coming up next in this league, I highly recommend it. There's a $4 Dota TV ticket, and it's going to be basically all top teams playing, duking it out in the double elimination bracket for around $8,000 in prizes for the main event, $10,000 if you include, of course, the show match series. We'll have another show match likely announced fairly soon. But anyway, Matt, enough about that. Thank you for joining me today. It's been a blast. It's been a pleasure. Guys, if you enjoy Mout's casting, you can follow him at twitter.com/MoutDota2. Mout, any shoutouts? Oh, and that's MAUT Dota2 for anyone who doesn't know how to spell it. Mout, any shoutouts, any closing words, wisdom, things you want to add?
And I'm not really. I mean, you pretty much covered everything. And I got to say, there's some really great games today. You guys are doing some great stuff, especially with the We Play tournaments. It's a lot of fun to watch, a lot of great stuff. I'd like to give a shout out to NA Dota, and that's about it. And thank you very much for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Again, if you want to follow Mout and support him, twitter.com/MountDota2. He does a lot of stuff for Neo Dota, North American Dota tournaments in general, but is looking occasionally to broaden his horizons too. So maybe you'll see him casting some other events in the future, but is a good old American when it comes right down to it. And today, we're all Americans because Liquid and EG, your two teams moving out of Group D. They will be the final two teams of the playoffs. For now, it's a wrap. Thank you all for tuning in. The rebroadcast will start right after this. I'm LD, he's Mount, and we're signing off.